In order to UV map an object, which means to bring an image or a drawing in and wrap it around an object in 3D, we need to create a UV layout. So first we need to mark seams, we need to cut those seams, make a layout, and export that layout. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's take a cube. If I zoom in on my cube and hit Tab to go into edit mode, I need to make sure my edge select is selected down here. And then I can start selecting edges. These are edges that I want to cut so that I can lay this image flat, or this layout flat. I'll show you how that's done. So if I select one edge on the side here, if I hold down Shift and select the top and the other side edge, and then I come up to the top and select both edges on top, and then I come around to the back and I select just the side edges on the back. Now there's lots of different ways to do this. This is just the way that I usually do it, and the way that I've found is best. So once I've selected all those, I can come over here to my Shading and UVs tab and select Mark Seam. And that marks all those seams, so when I unwrap it, it's going to cut those seams and lay it flat. So if I select all by hitting A couple of times on the keyboard, and then U on the keyboard to unwrap, I'm going to click Unwrap right there, and it doesn't look like it does anything, but it does unwrap it. I just have to go see it. So if I need to open up a new window, if I go to these little diagonal markings and click and drag out, and then go to the viewport button, switch that to UV Image Editor, there's my my layout that I've unwrapped. So it's marked those seams, it's cut them so that it lays out the cube layout in a flat form. Now I can export this if I go to UVs button right down here at the bottom, and at the very top, Export UV Layout. Now it's going to take me to my file system, so I give it a name right here, and I find a good place for it. So I'm going to say UV Layout. I'm going to say UV Cube Layout, and hit enter twice. It will export that layout. Now what that does, if I go into my files and find that export, that layout, it's just going to be an image file. I think a PNG was default, and I can find that file, I can open it with Photoshop, and then it will have just the outlines here of this layout. That way I can do whatever I want to it, put pictures on it or color it in a certain way, and then when I bring it back into Blender, it will map perfectly right around this cube.